Ogunse surrenders to CID. U.S. visa costs increase. And Exxon denied duty-free vehicle requests. I'm Enrico Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. Do see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. WPA executive member Takuma Ogense turned himself in to the police this morning after a wanted bulletin was issued for his arrest in connection with allegations of inciting racial hostility. Ogunse had come under widespread criticism for calling for a national day of resistance to the government that should involve the joint services based on the fact that there are a plethora of Afro-Guyanese within the joint services. He stated that he sees himself and the WPA as defending the dignity of the nation as well as the legacy of Walter Rodney. Oh my. At 10:57 a.m., he was shackled and escorted by detectives to a waiting, unmarked police vehicle which carried him to the Brickdam police station. His lawyer, Nigel Hughes, said the fact that Ogunse was taken to the lockups indicates that he would remain in custody for 72 hours before he is charged, so he'll be spending the weekend there. Hughes said offenses under the Racial Hostility Act are bailable. However, he could not say how confident he was that his client would be acquitted without seeing the particulars of the charge. Jagdeo confirmed that reports of a threat against U.S. interests in Guyana are being taken seriously, and the government is cooperating with U.S. authorities to address the issue. The U.S. Embassy in Georgetown has increased security at its location after receiving threats against U.S. interests, but it is unclear whether the threats are domestic or international in nature. In fact, they've yet to even specify what the threat even is. Speaking of the U.S., the U.S. Department of State has announced an increase in certain non-immigrant visa application processing fees effective May 30th, 2023. The fee for visitor visas for business or tourism and other non-petition-based NIVs will increase from $160 to $185, while certain petition-based non-immigrant visas for temporary workers and treaty trader investors visas will increase to $205 and $315 respectively. Other consular fees are not affected by this rule. So back to politics here. Lennox Schuman's tenure as Deputy Speaker of the House and leader of the Liberty and Justice Party in the National Assembly has ended, and he will be replaced by Dr. Asha Kissoon, the leader of the New Movement. Dr. Kissoon plans to push for transparency within the government, constitutional reform, and political independence for small opposition parties in Parliament. ANUG has signed its willingness to allow TNM to spend much longer in the Assembly than the original 3-month agreement. The party will gauge Dr. Kissoon's performance in the National Assembly before making a decision on the time allotted to the TNM. And with that being said, it is still unsure whether or not she will take the space of Deputy Speaker, as this is a position that is voted on in the National Assembly. In more political news, opposition leader Aubrey Norton has reiterated his support for the appointment of Justice Yonette Cummings as Chancellor of the Judiciary and Justice Roxanne George as Chief Justice, almost a year after indicating his support to the President. The President has not yet made any nominations for the positions or appointed a Judicial Service Commission, and Norton has responded to claims by the Vice President that the opposition is blocking the appointments. The Constitution requires the President to make nominations and get agreement from the opposition leader for them to move forward, but clearly the opposition leader is not in opposition in this matter.
Hey, I'm interrupting this program to let you know that not all truck parts are created equal. Some does work hard without any problems for a long time, while others does make your truck broke down quick and got you running your pockets again. Get genuine high-quality parts from Powered Automotive truck spares and engine parts and extend the life of your repair. They're the authorized dealer in Guyana for Hammer USA products like brake valves, clutch discs, universal bearings, and others. Visit them at 1161 EE Eccles or call them on 697-0171. Powered Automotive, the #1 truck and engine parts store in Guyana. If you didn't know, well, now you know.
Now it's time to tell you about the best price car of the week. Currently on sale is this 2020 Toyota Raze. It's almost brand new, and it comes with Toyota safety sets, Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, LED lighting, fog lamps, bar camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $6 million. Or pay as low as $1.2 million down with around $160,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and they'll make a sent you for this sweet deal. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today. The Guyana Association of Trawler Owners and Seafood Processors reported a 75% increase in their catch following 3 years of low catches. The increase is attributed to the reduction of fresh water in the fishing grounds after one of the most devastating floods in 2021. However, the industry is now facing supply issues during the pandemic, and many nations are having issues with markets. The government is working to secure new markets for Guyana seafood and restore markets that were either lost or scaled down. The body of a Rose Hall estate worker identified as Noha Singh was found in the Kanji River after he went missing on Wednesday. Singh had reportedly gone up the river with friends to catch fish. His wife had tried to stop him from going and reported him missing when he did not return. The police have detained several persons as they investigate the matter. Now for today's oil update. Brazil and China have agreed to conduct trade and financial transactions directly, exchanging yuan for reais, and vice versa, instead of using the U.S. currency in order to trade. This also includes oil. China is already Brazil's largest trading partner and export market, and this move is expected to reduce costs and promote even greater bilateral trade. The deal reportedly follows an initial agreement in January, and China has similar currency deals with several other nations. And in other oil-related news, the vice president has rejected accusations that Exxon Mobil is being granted unnecessary concessions by the state. In fact, he pointed out a request from Exxon Mobil to import a fleet of over 100 duty-free vehicles that was refused by the government, as it would undermine the business guaranteed to locals. The government has passed a Local Content Act, which requires Guyanese to provide 100% of ground transportation and personnel movement services to the oil and gas companies. The vice president emphasized that the government continues to represent citizens' best interests in its dealings with foreign companies while honoring contracts signed in the past. You can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, Marine Patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News, Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you fear it least was. Last night I asked, how do you feel about Ogense's arrest? But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description. Kevin Higgins says, it's a good thing in my view. If we are to condemn this racism issue in Ghana, we need to do so on all sides. And when I say all sides, I mean exactly. That we seem to act like it's Indians and Africans alone in Ghana. It's really sickening to see. Indeed. I just hope they understand that this might open the floodgates, because if you ask me, almost all of those politicians who've ever taken stage have said racist things and deserve to be locked up for it. I'd love to actually see people receive punishment for it. And in relation to the US dollar issue, Barefoot Wanderer says, with the plethora of countries ditching the US dollar to no longer be used for trading and causing a decrease in the US dollar value, how will this affect Guyana's oil profits currently held in the US Federal Reserve? I'm thinking ahead and a bit worried. You know what, Barefoot Wanderer, I share your concern as well. In fact, that's going to be our question of the night. For tonight's question, I want to know, how do you feel about Guyana leaving our oil money in the US Federal Reserve? Is it a good move, or do you think it could be put to better use elsewhere? You know, maybe we can use it to back our currency and try to see if we can back it by gold or something. I don't know. That's just me. I want to hear from you. So, think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, you just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Pulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha! Good night, folks.